Ladies and gentlemen, the next pitch up is a team called Gekko. Give them a warm hand, please.
All right, thank you. So I'm from Gekko, my partner there, Flood. The rest of the team not here, but basically we have a solution for small businesses. Because when we were looking at small businesses, we came across some issues. Let's say you're a startup. You start with a great idea, and then you have to track your company accounts. For fiscal reasons, for investors who want to know what you're doing, and you have no clue of what you're doing. Because that's not why you became an entrepreneur, that's not why we started a business. It's basically a pain in the ass. So what do? You go to an accountant and says, I need some help with this. And that accountant says, sure, I'll help you. And then an accountant comes into a situation where he doesn't really give advice, the things that he's been taught to do, but he has to spend about 90% of his time gathering the information that he needs in order just to make sure that you have nice company records. And I'm sure you recognize this. On average, a bank, if you have a small enterprise coming to you, says, I want a small loan or whatever, you say, I'd love to give it to you, but you're basically too small, and it costs me too much money to service you effectively. Now, we found a whole bunch of other problems that are all have to do with small companies, and what have all these problems in common? They're basically about data management for small companies. So we came up with a solution, and we call it Gekko. And what we did is we built a really nice, simple to use accountancy system for small companies. So what does it do? We basically created all kinds of applications, online applications, mobile applications. So we have an app for expense tracking where you can just make a picture of your receipt and goes immediately into your accounts. We have an app for hours management. We have an app for kilometer registration. And we gather all that information and put it into one centralized database. So you're a company, you start working with this, you sign up, and you basically get everything that you need in one really nice dashboard. And this is, by the way, all available for you to download, do, or whatever. It's free. Just type in Gekko in your app store, and you can download one of our apps and create an account. So we have a smart system that can be operated by inexperienced, non-financial users. It's really aimed at a startup, at someone who doesn't know and understand this. It's especially designed so for small businesses, and all the relevant company information from invoices to cost to kilometers to hours to contracts to whatever can be stored in here. So any of the startups who are still looking for an accountancy system, just go to our thing. Specifically, this is very nice, but we are still missing one critical part from our side. And that's basically the bank transactions. This is also one of the reasons why we are here now. We are currently working very hard on integrating bank transactions into our system and basically make this a full service solution for small companies. So we do really well. We grow quite fast, and we have a shitload of users. And as I said before, it's free. So we have a shitload of free users. And that did pose a problem, because how are we going to make money then? Well, then we started thinking, this is really nice, but we also have a shitload of data here. And we basically built this program to see how can we make sure that this data goes to the right place. So who can benefit from this data? Well, first of all, of course, the owner. I mean, the owner needs to keep track of his records, but yeah, he needs to do that somewhere. But it's not only him. He, for instance, might have a partner. So we allowed for the data on our platform to be shared and used between different people. But not just different people, because maybe this partner has a holding company and he needs to get some information from the mother company in which he invested. Or there might be a customer here that you work for and that would like to understand what you're doing for him and that you want to share your information with. You can also do suppliers and anybody. And so eventually we have created right now a network of 22,000 companies that can share and interact information with each other. So all the information that anybody that puts on here can be shared with anybody else on the network. All you need to do is specify what you want to share and what you want to get and just get approval from the person who wants to share this information. Now, to step back a moment from thinking about what the possibilities are of that, just think about, for instance, that same accountant that before spent about 90% of his time checking and looking for receipts of his small customers. He can now basically go into our system, click on a button, and get all the information he wants from his customer. Think about a hiring company, especially here in the Netherlands. It's a thing with VAR, DGA's, whatever, or DBA's, I think it's called. There you need a lot of information about the people that you are hiring, especially if they are freelancers. We can provide basically a solution that automatically gives you the data that you need, from a contract to the hours that people work, from the expenses they may make, whatever you want. Of course, very interesting for banks, factoring services. We send out a lot of invoices every day, usually invoices that get paid 2-3 months later. Well, it was very interesting to basically sell these invoices to a middleman, make sure that the middleman gets immediately all the information he needs to assess the creditworthiness of this person, of this company, and the company can get a much lower rate for financing himself. If you think about insurance companies need a lot of information from their customers just to assess if they're right for the right product. Basically, we can provide all this information, and feel free to download our fantastic app, and I hope you enjoyed it.